views and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Outdoors People with me, C.W. Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. We have a 54 degree Fahrenheit, 12 degrees Celsius, windy, kind of a chilly day here today in Illinois. I was just telling Maya before the show, we had, I think it's 6 like tornado things that I heard of here around in the area. Didn't go through any, obviously, but yeah, so that's just the ones I heard about. But yeah, what a wicked week of weather, at least the last couple of days. And so I'm not sure we're quite out of it yet. How's your weather down there, Maya?
Quite of the opposite, actually. It is 25 degrees Celsius, and it means 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
it is a lovely day.
It's sun shining and everything.
Yeah.
I was there, absolutely. Well, tonight's episode of Outdoors People is brought to you by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
By Campground Views, making camping easier.
By Duluth Pack, made in the USA since 1882.
And by Jackson Kayak, pursuing joy through paddle sports.
Tonight's episode is The Queen of SUP with Candice Appleby, with our special guest, Candice Appleby. Candice Appleby is regarded as a pioneer of SUP, as well as being its foremost champion, whose record of achievements begins in 2007. In 2008, Candice became the first and only woman to beat men in a professional SUP surfing event, where she won the women's division as well as the Open Pro Division. Candice captured 6 victories at Battle of the Paddle and 3 more victories after the event was renamed Pacific Paddle Games, considered to be the World Championship of SUP. Earning the title of #1 Female SUP Athlete of the Year 3 years in a row, Candice also won 3 WPA World titles in 2009, 2010, and 2011. She then won the APP World Tour title in 2015 and also 5 gold medals for the United States at the ISA World Championships in 2015, 2016, 2018, and 2022. Candice Appleby has been described as fiercely competitive, tremendously well-respected, and a true ambassador of the sport. And with that, welcome to the show, Candice.
Hi, welcome.
How is your weather this evening in California there?
So the sun is shining today and there are no clouds in the sky, but it's a brisk 60 degrees. So yeah, it's been a bit of a cold winter here. They said the coldest winter in Southern California in 30 years. So
wow. Yeah. Wow, I hadn't realized that. I knew you're getting some chilly weather up there. I didn't realize that was is that kind of like a record breaker, or is that just not quite that?
It's been really wet, a lot of rain, and when it rains, the water kind of gets dirty from the runoff. So we have to either stay out of it, or I try to stay on top of it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's a good philosophy. So you were just saying before the show, when you run a business out there, and that makes it a little tough to kind of conduct business when the water and temperatures and things like that don't cooperate with you. Am I right?
Yeah. So I have my Ocean Academy where I coach full time. I have a training club and train a lot of clients privately. And when it rains, it's kind of tough. Some of them, tough it out, but I can't force them to come out on the water when it's pouring rain and gale force winds. So that's just meant a little bit more time for me in the gym on the rainy days.
There you go. Make the best use of it. Yeah.
Yeah, here in Brazil, it is so hot. It's like the hottest summer ever. So it is raining every single day, like nonstop for like 3 months at least. So for outdoors, it's been terrible. But how did you get started paddle boarding?
So I grew up surfing. I started surfing when I was 9 years old, but I was in the ocean before that. My mom and dad both had me in the ocean, and my parents always lived near the beach. Well, actually, my parents were divorced when I was small, and my dad lived at the beach. And then I moved to San Clemente when I was 11 with my mom and my stepdad. And so started competing in surfing at 10 years old. And
Wow.
our high school actually had a surf team in high school. And that was
Cool.
a big deal. It was like the football team. You know, we were national champions for several years. A lot of the guys that I grew up surfing with went on to become professional surfers. And we would actually surf for our first period class of the day and get a grade for it, which was pretty
That's
neat.
fantastic.
Yeah. And then I moved to Hawaii to go to college and pursue a surfing career after high school. And then after living in Hawaii for a couple years and competing in shortboarding and longboarding, I was spending a lot of time at a place called Makaha Beach, which is a pretty famous surfing beach, and the world's best watermen come from Makaha, and they started stand-up paddling very early, in the very early days. Anything that you can do in the ocean on a wave, they do it there at Makaha. And so I saw it there for the first time, and I was committed to memory, just watching the Hawaiians there do the sport. And then I was actually living in Waikiki at the time, which is on the
Nice.
side of the island. Yeah, it was pretty neat to grow up in a surf town, San Clemente, and then move to Waikiki and get to spend time at Makaha. So I got a paddle from Rusty Keaulana, who is from Makaha. He gave me a paddle to use, and then I would go down to the beach really early in Waikiki and kind of hustle the beach boys and ask them to borrow one of the biggest rental surfboards that they had, the largest one that was available. There weren't actual stand-up paddle boards really being produced in the masses at that time. And so I'd go out in the morning and I'd take that paddle that I was given and I would practice what I saw the guys at Makaha doing, and just kind of self-taught myself based on what I had seen. That was in 2007, and I started to excel at it pretty quickly. It was something that allowed me to take all my surfing experience and then my natural athleticism and upper body strength, and it was just one more thing to do in the ocean.
Yeah,
So,
right. Let me ask you this, and I have to ask you, as a world champion, I have to throw these questions out there. Did you have in your mind, like, something, someday I'm going to beat men? Did you ever have that attitude?
Every single day, I can tell as a
Exactly.
girl.
not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to beat men. I always had a dream of being a professional surfer. I thought that I would be a shortboarder, and because I grew up shortboarding and longboarding, but God had other plans. It was, there was this whole sport that didn't even exist yet, that he's like, I'm gonna put you at the right place at the right time. And he did. And as far as, competing against the men and beating the men, it was, I don't know, just out of necessity, really. I mean, I was one of the only women doing it in the early days. And I just competed in whatever was available. And so at that time, I started competing against the men because those are the only competitions that there were. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
So
that's very cool.
did you say in PE class you got to go surfing? Was that, or did I misunderstand you?
Yeah, that was a class.
I am so envious of you. We got to go bowling. Okay, so that, I mean, really, very
And soccer in here, Brazil.
yeah, soccer. Yeah. Surfing sounds a whole lot more fun than bowling. I can tell you.
Yeah.
That's just funny. Hey, so let me ask you, what does a typical week involve when you're training for like an upcoming competition?
So right now I'm in an interesting season of life because during COVID, I started my coaching business, and I was just 100% focused on coaching my clients, which keeps me on the water a lot. And now I'm back into competing. And so I'm balancing hours on the water coaching and then my own training. So a typical day, depending on if I have clients in the morning or not. So if it's a morning like a Monday, typically I'll have 2 to 3 clients in the morning. I'll wake up at 5 in the morning and I will do some mobility and stretching now for like an hour to an hour and a half because
Yeah, right.
I'm an older athlete. And so I'm an older athlete to be competing at the level I'm competing at. So I need to get my body moving and it takes a while. And then I will get down to the harbor in Dana Point by 7 a.m. And I'll typically have my first client then. So on a Monday, I'll usually have 3 in a row. So that'll be about 5 hours on the water coaching stand-up paddleboarding. So, and then after that, I'll go home, I'll have a snack. And then lately I've been going to the gym for about, 1.5 to 2 hours. Sometimes I'll get in a run even in the afternoon if my body says yes. Right now I'm training for the Carolina Cup, which is a long distance race. And so on days that I don't have clients, I'm, getting in my own paddling early in the morning. So today I went down to the pier and I practiced in the surf zone, and then I went to the gym, and now I'm here. And then after this, I'm probably going to go walk my dogs. So it's a balance of getting in miles, lots of miles with my clients, lots of miles when I'm not coaching, the gym about 4 to 6 days a week, and then running when my body says that I can run, when my hips or my ankles or my knees or,
Well, it's no wonder you look the way you do, regardless of age. I don't care how old you are. You look fantastic. And I saw some of these pictures. I go, wow, she is in amazing shape. So yeah, good
Thank
for
you.
you.
Yes, that's true. I was thinking the same thing actually.
Yeah.
You look great.
Amazing.
I wish I can look like you in your age.
Oh, thank you. It's funny,
So-
I train in the gym a lot, and people ask me like, how long have you been working on your shoulders, in yoga? I'm
a
like,
lifetime.
I'm like, not from the gym. Paddleboarding,
Yeah, that's the real deal, right? Yeah. On the job.
Yeah, now you are my influence. And about that, I want to know if you have been influenced by someone. So, who have been your biggest influences?
Honestly, like growing up, probably like athletically, one of my biggest influences was my older sister, Shelly, because she was 3 years older than me, and she's a great athlete, and I was always kind of in her shadow. So, in her shadow just because she was older, right? So as the younger sibling, I was always like striving to like be as good as her. So she influenced me early on, and of course my whole family. My mom taught me how to surf, and I come from some sports background. My grandfather on my dad's side was a baseball player, and he
Nice.
he played for the Cardinals, but he got polio before he went to the majors. But he was a great athlete. And then, I'm kind of a sports fan, and I grew up, my mom always got me different sports movies. So I grew up watching The Pistol, Pistol Pete, Birth of a Legend, and
Pistol Pete Maravich?
yeah.
I remember that guy. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you just
So,
mentioned him. Yeah, that's
like
cool.
every sports movie I could get my hands on, Field of Dreams, or, even still I'm, 37, and on a Saturday evening, I'll sit home and watch Rocky. Like, so
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I mean, and in surfing, I've had some really incredible influences growing up in San Clemente. We have so many great surfers that come from our town, and so I've been really blessed to grow up surfing local surf breaks where there is incredible surfers around me. So, really great surfers. Jamie G and Shelly Hayden were two progressive surfers that I grew up watching, and then I moved to Hawaii and was mentored by some of the world's most incredible watermen, the Keolanas and the DeSotos and the Froises and the Pu'us. And so those people really poured a lot into me. And I learned that I always loved everything in the ocean when I was a kid. But then when I went to Hawaii, I'm like, oh, this is like a whole lifestyle. Like these guys are doing this all day, bringing every type of toy and piece of equipment down to the beach. And, they're emulating Duke Hanamoku, who's also one of my biggest influences. So,
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just assuming if you're hanging around rock stars, it's inevitable that you're going to become one, and then you have, obviously. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, you were in the right family and the right places in the right time. So everything helped out, right?
Mhm.
And tell us the story about you double qualified in both racing and SUP surfing in 2019 and 2022.
Yeah, so the Pan American Games, that's what you're talking about. That happens every 4 years, the year before the Summer Olympics. And our sport is working its way towards becoming an Olympic sport. Surfing was in the Olympics for the very first time for Tokyo. And the precursor to that is getting your sport in the Pan American Games, which is basically a mini Olympics for all the countries in North, Central, and South America. So in 2018, I was at the ISA World Championships in China, and it just so happened they had, the top finisher in technical racing at that event from the Americas, any country in the Americas, and then the top finisher in SUP surfing would get a spot to go to the Pan American Games in 2019 in Peru. And I didn't really understand what the whole event was about, but I won the world title at that event for
Wow.
the technical racing, and then I was the top finisher for SUP surfing. So I got the spot. I got to go to Peru in 2019. I had what was like this historical wipeout.
Oh, wow.
And I was winning the race for gold, and then I wiped out, and I ended up getting silver, and then I was fourth in the surfing. But then kind of came around again, the ISA World Championships in 2022. I qualified for my country, and I, went to compete after kind of, I don't know, I've been contemplating retirement because I'm getting older. And then that event was again a qualifier for the Pan American Games that's coming up this year in Santiago, Chile. And there was a spot available. There was more spots. There was 4 spots this time. 4 spots for technical racing and 4 spots for SUP surfing. And I was able to win the technical race again, which was really challenging. So I won the gold medal for that. And I was competing against some really great athletes that, girls that I watched when they were little girls, and now they're women.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I just got the last spot for SUP surfing. So I qualified again. So I'll be going back to the Pan Ams. That's what I'm training for now, and that's going to happen in October.
Very cool.
Whoa, that's very cool. Good luck with that. Yes, very cool. Good luck with that. And we'll be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born, built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with our guest, Candice Appleby on Outdoors People. Candice, about a year and a half ago, as I understand it, you were ready to retire because you felt content, with what you had accomplished and achieved at that point. Totally understandably so. But what motivated you to continue competing?
It's a great question. I was kind of ready to retire. I started my coaching business and I felt really great just passing along everything I've learned to other people. And my body was also starting to hurt me a little bit from competing for over 15 years. And then last year I decided to do a nationals because I wasn't ready to be done yet, but I was almost ready to be done. Like I was
winding down, right?
Be done and be fine. Yeah. I could be done and be like, you know what, this has been great. I'm content. I can be done.
Sure.
And so I did nationals and I won for technical racing and SUP surfing, and that qualified me for the ISA World Championships, which happened in Puerto Rico. And so even like getting ready for the World Championships, it was difficult because I felt like my time was kind of divided between myself and then coaching, and there's pressure to perform and want to do the best, but I had committed. I want to go and represent my country. And then I, just kind of got that fire back lit under me.
That's the itch, right?
I was not feeling motivated. And then I met someone that, he said to me, he's, what was that? I was like, I'm not feeling motivated. He said, motivation fades, discipline doesn't. And it was like,
oh,
yeah,
I like that.
And I was like,
yeah, I love it.
yeah, I'm like, I know how to do that. I know how to be disciplined. And then I changed some things in my diet as per his influence. And then my body started feeling better. Some of my pains were going away. And maybe that's because I kind of rested my body for 2.5 years from trying to train at the highest level. Because now I'm training again at the highest level. And I feel it when I wake up. But I started training, and honestly, all my clients that I coach as well, all my athletes from Ocean Academy, they really inspire me. And I want to be a good example to them because I'm encouraging them to do all the races that they can. And these are, grown adults. It's not a children's program. It's an adult program. Like they're all professionals. And this is the thing that they choose to do for fun and for their goals. And so I want to inspire them too. So that representing my country. And then that little carrot of the Pan Ams, right? So like I said, the ISA World Championships just this past year was a qualifier. And so I'm like, well, I would like to redeem that silver medal that I got and change it to gold if I can.
Yeah, of course. Why not, man?
So, and I just love my sport. The community is so great. Having not been able to travel and compete for 2 years with COVID, I missed all my friends that are international paddlers. That's a really unique thing about being a professional athlete in an international sport. I get to have friends from around the world that I get to visit. So I don't know. Did I answer that question? I think
you did. I would just basically say all the signs were there, Candice, that, you know what, it's not in the cards for you to quit just yet.
Yeah.
I like your friend's philosophy. That was great.
Yeah. And then I surprised myself. I kind of went and I won again. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess
there's your sign, as they say.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the answer it is, you are a rock star. You are rocking it. So just keep going, right?
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Just go until
sorry, go ahead.
I'll just go until I break.
There you go. I was just going to say, go until you can't anymore. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. And have you ever had an injury while you're competing?
I haven't necessarily had an injury in competition, but I have had some injuries. I did break my pinky once while I was doing my sport. This one that like sticks to the side a little bit. But I have some, I've had some other injuries that happened outside of sport that affected my sport. And then I've got some wear and tear on my hips just from, being a surfer and an athlete. And so nothing big while competing that I can recall. I've had some nasty wipeouts, but no giant injury in the heat of competition.
Oh, good. And how important is the mental aspect of computing?
Oh, the mental part is super important. I've had races that I have won when I wasn't in shape because my mind was strong. And I've had races or surf events that I've lost when I was in the better shape than everybody because my mind was weak. One of my sponsors, Jim Terrell, he makes my paddles. He was an Olympian, and one of his coaches would say that, to make an Olympic final, it's 90% physical and 10% mental. But to win Olympic final, it is 90% mental and 10% physical. At that level, we're all the same from here to here. It's what's in between here that makes the difference. So
yes, that's totally true. I can see that in like all sports, like you have to be in a good place of mind to go well in that type of position, right? So yes, I totally agree. And we are going to a little break, and after that we have some pictures to look up. So don't go away.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sights, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak. We are
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we are back with our guest, Candice Appleby, here on Outdoors People. Juan, we've got some photos, and I think we got a video here that we're going to show. Let's have put those up, and we'll have Candice tell us a little bit about the photos that we're going to look at. There we go.
This is from the podium from the ISA World Championships in Puerto Rico. So I won the technical race, and there's a Spanish competitor, Espe, to the left of me. She's a silver medalist, and France to the right of me. And then And our other American, all the way to the far left, April Zilg, she won the copper medal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
That's incredible. I'm sorry. That's just amazing. I don't know how you're doing that.
So this is the start. I had run with my board, and this is mid launching of it's called skimming. So I'm skimming the board, and right there I've jumped from under the water, right in the about knee deep water, and I'm bringing my body up to eventually stand up to my feet is what I'm gonna do.
Look at those legs, man. I mean, that's amazing. The muscles tone and wow. But I mean, when you're working out, 23 hours a day and sleeping 1, I guess that's what but yeah. Wow.
And eating well as well.
Yeah, right. It's impressive.
This is a picture of SUP surfing. So the previous one was on a racing board. So I do 2 different disciplines of the sport. This is a stand-up paddle surfing board. This picture is from the ISA World Championships in Puerto Rico. So stand-up paddle surfing and racing are 2 different things, right? It's like it'd be like, synchronized swimming and swimming laps in the pool, right? You're in a bathing suit and you're in a pool, but it's 2 different sports.
I admit I'm more impressed by this. That's just me because I like the surfing thing and all that and the waves, and I think that's just impressive. But I'm sure, I mean, I watched you paddle racing, and it takes a lot of strength to do that. That's impressive. But I'm just a wave person, I guess, so I'm a sucker for this.
Yeah, the waves are fun. So in stand-up paddle surfing, we paddle a board we ride a board that is basically like the shape of a shortboard, which is the type of boards that they compete on the World Surf League, but it's bigger. It's like a blown up shortboard. So it's considered a progressive stand-up paddle surfboard, the one that you see in this picture. It allows me to do sharper turns, and then you use the paddle to accentuate the maneuvers, and also you have to paddle into the wave standing up, of course.
I'm going to give go ahead, Candice, go ahead.
These smaller boards, when you're balancing on them, if you've ever tried stand-up paddle boarding, typically you're on top of the water on a board where you're learning on. These boards are such low volume that your feet are actually kind of underwater and you're trying to balance.
Oh, wow.
Board. Yeah.
Speaking of boards, let's give Dave Bainey a shout out. Tell us everybody what brand of boards you paddle.
Yeah, so I paddle for Infinity. Infinity has been around as a surfboard brand for over 50 years.
Wow.
Dave Bainey is, currently the manager of Infinity SUP and surfboards. His father, Steve Bainey, is the original master shaper, and his mother, Barry, also ran the business. And so now Dave's taken it over, and he's a great surfer, stand-up paddler, waterman, and he designs the boards. And so I use Infinity surfboards for my longboarding, shortboarding, SUP surfing, SUP racing. It's cool because they're a waterman style brand where they make every type of board to ride a wave on the ocean, which is really, really neat. Yeah.
And is it easier or harder than just the regular surfing?
That's an interesting question. It kind of depends on who you ask. So with regular, and there's so many different levels of each type of surfing, right? So imagine if you were learning to surf. When you learn to surf, you lay on your stomach and you paddle out through the waves. You turn around, paddle into the wave, you stand up and you catch it. With stand-up paddle surfing, you need to be standing the entire time. So you have to stand up on the board, balance on it, paddle up and over the waves while staying standing on the board, turn around. So there's some aspects where it can be easier in really small, gentle waves because you can see the wave a little different. And then there's some aspects where it's much more difficult. So it just depends on at what level you're going to try it.
That's a balance skill going on there, aren't there?
Yeah, so this picture is actually from 2008. This is in the Duke's Ocean Festival where I competed, and you had mentioned about me beating the men. This was the event. I beat the one. Yeah, and so I was coming.
This is poster material. This picture, yeah, absolutely. That's something like you'd see somebody on somebody's wall.
Thank you. I actually have this picture printed out. I don't have. I'm not like a big trophy person, but it was a good memory, and I think I was, I don't know, 22 there, and I'm 37 now.
That's a very cool picture, man.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, this one's fun. This is surf racing. So this is, I'm on a racing board here. You can see it's very flat and straight and pointy. So this board is actually not really designed to be in the waves. This board's designed to go fast. But this is a surf race in Huntington Beach from years ago coming in, and I dropped down the face of that wave. You can actually see my leash in the wave. I've already released my ankle because I'm going to be coming into the shore soon. So right here, I dropped into the wave. I have a lot of speed and I'm trying to outrun it before the curtain comes down behind me and explodes.
Oh, wow. Love it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
That's cool though. That's another awesome picture.
Yeah.
Some great pictures.
So this is a little floater. That's called a little floater, just like a little turn off the top of the breaking wave. And this one is from the World Championships in Puerto Rico.
That's cool. I don't know how you balance that, honestly.
So right there, you can see the paddles. If you see the blade of the paddles kind of behind me. So I've taken a stroke to help me do the turn. But then as I come down off of that, the foamy water there, it's called the lip. As I come down off the lip, I can actually use that paddle behind me to brace and help give me some leverage as I'm coming down with momentum so that I don't fall.
You know, in the last picture there, that was kind of what I saw you doing with that paddle as well. It's kind of a brace.
Yeah.
When you were leaning backwards, it looked like it. So yeah, okay.
So that again, that's from the Duke's Ocean Festival. That was the event so I competed in the Open Pro division that year, and the Open Pro division was open to anybody, but I was the only female. And then I also competed in the women's division that year, and I won both.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that is so cool. You had to feel good about that.
Yeah, I mean,
really good.
I've been training really hard, and it's a week-long celebration of the life of Duke Kahanamoku, who is the father of modern surfing. And just to make it through all the rounds in the open division, I remember when I was rinsing off in the shower and they were saying the results of the semifinal. And I was in that semifinal with guys who are like some of my biggest influences, the men that I told you from Makaha, who are incredible, that I look up to. And they say the results backwards. So it's, fourth through first place, and the top two advanced to the finals. And when they said third place and it wasn't me, like they said fourth, I said third. And then I was like, what? I remember I kind of cried. I was like, not super, girly cry, more just like in deep of like, oh my goodness, I get to go to the final dance, and
good for you.
And so that was pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
That's a turn. This is doing a turn on my SUP surfboard. That I believe is from Nationals, U.S. Nationals. Oh man, a year or two ago, somewhere in Southern California.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a very cool picture. You got some great photos here.
Yeah. And you need to have a strong core as well, right?
Yes, core, legs, shoulders. Core is really important. Well, they say like, oh, SUP must be really good for your core, but it is if you use it, right? So it's super important though to have a strong core. Yeah. I'm always telling my athletes I coach to do their core workouts. This is at home. This picture is taken off of the San Clemente Pier. That's why you have that kind of overhead perspective. And this is on a race board here. So I'm actually popping up and over a wave on my race board. And this is a fun picture because you can see some technique of basically, getting a long 12.5 foot or 14-foot paddleboard up and over a wave requires a little bit of like a teeter-totter. So if you see this photo, you imagine, the board is like the board of a teeter-totter, and the wave is like the fulcrum. You're trying to get it up and over.
Oh, wow.
And so you can see my body's lined up in the middle of the board. I'm bracing on the crest of the wave. So that way I can get up and over the wave.
I mean, to me, that's a lot of board going on there because that's the length of a solo canoe. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And here's another. This is a surf competition up at Steamer Lane in Santa Cruz. So I'm doing a top turn here on my SUP surfboard. So
Love that.
yeah, that one's kind of fun with the shadow. I like the shadow.
That's a very cool picture. I mean, you got some great stuff here. Okay, it looks like we got a video coming up right now. Let's take a look at this. I think this is a great video too.
I lay my heart on an altar of grace. So clearly now I see your face. With eyes that burn with your love for me. You call me child, you set me free. I run like wildfire, set ablaze, so amazed by the things you've done for me. I run like wildfire, set ablaze, so amazed by the things you've done for me.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome stuff. Candice, thanks for sharing those with us. Those were excellent. Really were.
Thank you.
Yeah, such a cute video. I love it. And tell us about your 2023 schedule.
Yeah, so I have quite a few events on the schedule. I'm training right now for the Carolina Cup and the Carolina Pro-Am, which happen at the end of this month in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. That's a SUP surfing event and then a long distance paddleboard race. I'll be doing some events on the APP World Tour. And then my big event of the year is the Pan American Games. So that happens in October, November in Santiago, Chile. That's my main event for the year that I'm getting ready for. And so I'll be competing in stand-up paddle surfing and technical racing at that event. And then I got a few other events on the calendar and lots of clinics to teach and my training club and folks to coach. It's a good life.
Candice, you are a busy girl. I don't think you have time to get old. That's just my opinion. We've got a question here. I got to read this. This came from Skip and Orla, who are very loyal fans of the shows here, and I really appreciate you guys. They are from Scotland, actually. They write, I SUP surf a 10-foot 6-inch SUP slow turning longboard style. Our East Coast waves are usually 4 foot and short. I'm thinking a shorter board might help quicken my turns. What is Candice's favorite setup?
Yeah, so in response to that, I would say if you're going from a 10-6 longboard style SUP, the New Deal by Infinity is my favorite for like the most maximum fun having of a SUP surfboard. The photos that you saw that I'm competing on, I'm on a really small board. The board is 7 feet and 8 inches long. But one of my most favorite boards to ride is the New Deal. It's a high performance longboard style stand-up paddle surfing board. So they make it in 9 feet, 9 foot 6 inches, and it has a good amount of volume so that you can catch waves fairly easily. But the rails are thinned out. The tail has a really great shape, and it's a progressive longboard. So I would highly recommend that. I like the 9 foot by 26, but I would pick the right size. You probably want something a little bit bigger if you're going from a 10-6, maybe the 9.8 or 9.6. A lot of people call that board the quiver killer because if you have a whole quiver of boards, but then you get a New Deal, you just want to ride the New Deal because it's so much fun.
It must be a very nice board.
Yeah.
It's a whole new language for me. And where can people follow you on social media?
So I have a few social medias. I have my Apple Steez on Instagram. It's Apple Steez, APPLESTEEZE. You can find me, or you can search me by my name on Instagram. And then I also have Ocean Academy USA on Instagram as well. And that has some great little tips and how-to videos for paddle technique. And then I'm on Facebook as well. So Facebook, Instagram, you can search me by my name or by Ocean Academy.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, Candice, listen, we want to thank you for being our guest here on Outdoors People. It was definitely a pleasure having you here with us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
Yes, thank you for being here with us. And we'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, Campground Views, Duluth Pack, and Jackson Kayak.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, Roller Ski Down Under, with our special guest, Hannes Holly. Until then.
Oh, you're having connection problems. Juan, ECW in here?
We're back on. Okay. Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, Roller Ski Down Under, with our special guest, Hannes Holly. Until then, for Maya Marzaki, this is CW Getz saying, thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. See you next week.
Ciao.